Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today we're bringing you pretty much the best of the best. We are bringing you the iPhone 6 Plus versus the Galaxy Note Edge. Now, this will be a side-by-side comparison of all the categories that you care about and which phone should you buy. Now, we will break these up into two different styles. One, the full video that you can watch all together, and in segment videos to watch the things you really care about. Maybe the camera is important to you. Maybe the battery life is important compared to you. We will see and compare them all and let you decide. Now, let's find out which one really is the best device for you in terms of which categories. Now, the very first thing we always take a look at when we compare two devices is the overall look and feel. Which one looks better and which one feels better between the two. Now, when it comes to the iPhone 6, it did basically have the same style as the iPhone 6, but with the Plus, we kind of saw just a bigger sized version of it. So the 6 and the 6 Plus kind of went back to the original iPhone, really, in terms of how it went. Now, overall, they have more of a curvature compared to before, where it was more square-like, and it has caught a lot of people's attention for that purpose. However, even the greatest iPhone users will admit that the antennas aren't as nice of a design as they have been before, and the camera sticking out isn't the nicest thing, especially since it's such a small part that just sticks out as opposed to otherwise very nice thin architecture. Overall, the curve feels good, but one thing that definitely lacks is the easy to hold in the hand. The iPhone 6 is very, very slippery, as we've shown before on our other side-by-side comparisons. And that's just something that really lacks in the feel department. It's just overall slippery, and even the most avid iPhone user will put a case on it, even if they normally wouldn't beforehand. But the Note Edge, it really is such a beautiful and different design. The Edge display really makes the device stand out, and it definitely just looks really nice. Just having that Edge display, it is different from every other device out there on the market. Very simple and easy to operate, and just really nice and clean the way it shows how different it really is. When we go to it, it just stands out in every single screen just because of that Edge display that looks very, very sleek, and again, just different from everything out in the market. When it comes to the back, it is a very soft texture, similar to the Note 4s. It does have the camera sticking out as well, but it just seems to be a bit more right, you could say, in terms of just a small section. It's a much bigger camera, so you just don't feel it's as fragile in comparison. The thinness is very thin, however, it's not as thin as the 6 Plus, but it doesn't bend, so, it has that going for it. Well, actually, it does bend. So you have that ability for the Note Edge, but overall, the grip is going to be a lot better. It doesn't fall off as easily as the 6 Plus, and that Edge display just really makes it stand out. So although it is rarely done on my channel, I am not going to give the iPhone 6 Plus the look and feel, and for this one, I just have to give it to the Edge. It feels great in the hand, and it looks different from every other device out in the market. Whereas if you see an iPhone, it's an iPhone. It looks like an iPhone. Now, the first thing we always take a look at when comparing web browsers is going to be the screen resolution and size. On the iPhone 6 Plus, we have a 5.5-inch screen with a 1080p display, which is slightly, exactly, pretty much 400 pixels per inch. On the Galaxy Note Edge, we have a 5.6-inch screen with a 2560 by 1440p display, giving it a 525 pixels per inch. Now, you really do notice this, I find, in a lot of detail. Both are over 400 pixels per inch, but even just being able to fit more in the screen at all times is a nice experience to have. Now, I always like to note this as well. This is where we can get all the specifications in terms of weight and dimensions. In terms of weight, the iPhone 6 is 7 ounces less in comparison to the Note Edge, which is going to be, of course, slight. It's more of the thinness is definitely going to be at 7.1 millimeters versus 8.3. And in terms of height, or sorry, in terms of width, you're going to have 77.8 versus 82.4. And then in terms of height, of course, this is where the 6 Plus obviously stands above, where it's going to be the 158 versus the 151. So overall, you're going to have a thinner, taller phone with the 6 Plus, whereas the Note Edge will give you the shorter phone, kind of easier to reach to the top of. All right, now let's check out the web browser and see which one loads better. And the Note Edge seemed to finish first. And now the iPhone 6 Plus finished. That was a slight increase compared to on the Note Edge side, but let's check out everything else first. Had a hiccup with the iPhone 6. Let's try that again. Okay. Basically the same pinch to zoom. Now double tap. Almost identical. The Note Edge seems to be slightly quicker in some instances, but so does the 6 Plus in some instances for the double tap. Now the pinch to zoom, this was the first time. This was the first time the Note Edge seemed to be a little bit better, and obviously the loading seemed to work a little bit better. Let's try a different link and see if this is more closer. This time the iPhone 6 Plus finished quicker before the Note Edge. So overall, I would say it's pretty close. And we will call this more of a tie than a flat-out win in comparison between the two. So between these two, we will call this a tie. Both are great for web browser experience, and you can see both moved very quickly. It seems just on the main, with a higher density page, the Note Edge seemed to finish a little bit quicker, but overall, both move very quickly, and you will have a great web browsing experience on both devices. Now, when it comes to sound quality, obviously speaker placement is something we take a look at before we always go into it. On the iPhone 6 Plus, the speaker is on the bottom, which isn't ideal, but it is better than the rear-firing speaker that is on the Galaxy Note Edge. So, we're going to play the same song on both these devices, starting off with the iPhone 6 Plus, then going to the Note Edge, then going back and forth.
Crazy how the game is changed. The lights go on, they scream my name. The curtain goes down, I remain the same. But all that money don't equal the price of fame. From LA to New York, Seattle to the Bay, West overnight flights to Oahu, get you late. Y'all down in Vegas, they know where to stay. Last show in Cali, headed down to the stable. Now a boy in the dream, had my heart in the clouds. Now I'm sleeping first class, got a bed in the clouds. Hit my pops to pick me up, and he said he was proud. King shit with a beanie on instead of a crown. Yeah, counting all my blessings. Shout out to the Most High. Started from the bottom, now I'm sitting at the Most High. Chief sees to the business, now I'm literally so fly. Motivated by my brokenness, guess that's why they call it coach, right? Yeah, back when I was broke, I was asking why I'd go through all this trouble.
Okay, so hopefully you could hear that. Music is always the hardest one to demo. Overall, though, me and 3 other people ended up calling it a tie. And the reason why this is because overall, the vocals sound a bit better on the iPhone 6 Plus. The Note Edge sounds a bit louder, and it seems to have a bit better bass. But the placement obviously does play a factor too, whereas the 6 Plus is on the bottom versus the back on the Note Edge. So overall, after going back and forth deliberating, everyone was happy with a tie. So that's what we're going to call it. It is going to be a tie, naming those key differences. It's going to be placement and vocal clarity versus bass and just loudness on the Note Edge. So to pick which one you like more and for what purpose. Now, we all love to watch videos. That's one of the reasons why you probably got a phone with this screen size. With the iPhone 6 Plus and the Note Edge, we definitely have two of the best screen resolutions and screen qualities for watching movies. However, I will point out the immediate difference between the two, and as always, the reason why I'm using a Samsung video is simply because I know it won't get flagged. With this one, we can obviously already notice black is black on here, and the colors are definitely more vibrant. But let's watch the entire video before making any judgments.
Too many people. Too bouncy. It's probably too far away. But with a Note 4, you can always get the shot. 8 times digital zoom catches every detail. With optical image stabilization, you get it even in the bounciest cases. And a front-facing camera so wide, you can selfie with like everyone. You gotta give me a number though. The new Samsung Galaxy Note 4 with the best camera we've ever put on a smartphone.
I mean, just even in this shot, you can tell just black is black on here, and just definitely every single frame, it did look better on the Note Edge, and that's just because of LED versus LCD. Just like when you go to any TV store, you're gonna buy an LED now. You're not gonna buy LCD anymore. And now you could, of course, make it truer color, even if you wanted to, with the settings on the Note Edge, and take off AMOLED Cinema to bring more true colors that are more accurate than even LCD is. Since this edition happened, it really just, LCD doesn't have any advantage. They used to be like, oh, well, we have more accurate colors. Now you don't. And that was the only saving grace that LCD used to have. But now, because LED, you get more vibrant and more clear colors, just depending on what you want for that day or that video, the Note Edge clearly wins when it comes to watching movies. Cameras are just so important to any smartphone user. If you have a smartphone, you take photos with it. The question is, which one takes better photos between these two? Now, when it comes to iOS versus Samsung, it really is going to be a difference of first interface. On iOS, you have all of the designs right here for the different modes. You have photo, video, slow motion, time lapse, square, and panorama, all in simple sections. Now, when we have, man, I think it just froze it. Sorry, the iPhone 6 seems to be a malfunction. There we go. You also have HDR, flash, timer, front-facing camera, and of course, some effects. So this is what we have on the iPhone 6 Plus. On the Galaxy Note Edge, we have a bit more in terms of features, which is typically how it is, simple versus more features. On the mode section, we do have a couple different ones, from rear camera selfie to selective focus to panorama to sports to food to so many more. You really just do have a lot of modes. Now, in terms of HDR, you do have instant HDR, which definitely makes so much more of a difference compared to iOS's solution, which has been covered by pretty much every reviewer. HDR on the new iPhone, on the iPhone 6, HDR is less than the iPhone 5. And you also have, of course, filters built in. And one of the most important features to a lot of people is the different video modes. So you do have slow motion and fast motion. You also have smooth motion, And I would say smooth motion, in my opinion, is a bit better than time lapse, simply for the fact that smooth motion films at the most amazing video quality that you can't get on another device. Whereas on time lapse, although it is great, how many people are actually going to be without their phone for that long of a time? I would say not that often. And of course, in the front facing camera, you even have more modes for selfie taking, especially wide selfie. But let's check out the results. So, on the selfie taking experience, we definitely do have a difference here, and that's simply because the iPhone 6 Plus is a very narrow angle front facing camera compared to the Samsung. And that's just because the Samsung has the widest aperture out of any smartphone now for the front facing camera. What does that mean? Well, it means you get more in your shot and more light being let through. Just a lot of much more wide shot, as you see. This is basically what the iPhone gave me, and this is what the the Note Edge gives me. So for that reason, in selfie taking alone, it will be better. Not to mention the color accuracy was a lot better. This is more my skin tone than this one. It's in between technically, but this is definitely more accurate. And of course, the detail is a bit better on the Note Edge as well. Now, when we move along to the Blu-ray collection, this is where the 8 megapixel versus 16 megapixel obviously trades blows. And that's just going to be that, of course, the detail is going to be better overall, especially when you look at things like Heroes and certain DVD and certain titles in the Blu-rays. You definitely can see more detail within the Note Edge's photos as compared to the iPhone 6 Plus. Just overall, it's going to be a bit better. Now, when we move to the next two, you might see a different tone, and that is a different color tone, really, overall in these two photos. Funny enough, the iPhone 6 Plus is the more saturated between the two, but that might not necessarily be a bad thing. Some people like more vivid color than just more realistic color, which is what we kind of get between these two. These ones are a darker purple, but not exactly quite where it's at in with these two. The pink is more accurate on this one compared to this one, where it looks more like a jewel. And I would say the purple is a bit closer on the iPhone 6 Plus compared to the Edge. However, when it comes again to detail, we do get finer detail on the Note Edge. The green is in between these two, but the Edge just offers less noise and fuzziness around parts of the green area that the iPhone 6 does not. For those reasons, on this one, we'll call it a draw. It's fairly similar compared to each other. And then finally, we have the last one, which is the low light shot, which this is very interesting because in my original comparison between the Note 4 and the iPhone 6 Plus, we found that not easily, but it was pretty clear, let's say, that in low light, the 6 Plus was better than the 4. It just did a bit better job. However, in this shot, we see a difference. We see that the Note Edge takes a bit better photo, definitely letting more light through than this one did, and you can just see it's just better, which is confusing because they should be about the same typically. Actually, in this photo taking experience, the Note Edge actually lost with this photo compared to the Note 4 when I took it in the same state. So overall, actually, in this one, the low light was better on the Note Edge in comparison to the iPhone 6 Plus, which, because we had a winner here on the low light, then we had a draw versus color accuracy and detail being split kind of down the middle between these two. In this one, the detail and just color representation was better and well done on the Note Edge versus the Plus. And then on the selfie, easily the Note Edge takes it with just a much wider selfie. You get more in the shot and more true to form. So for that reason, actually, the Note Edge surprisingly takes this one. I thought this one was going to be another draw, but I would say overall, comparing both cameras, the Note Edge will take it in between the camera comparison between the Note Edge and the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, when it comes to the gaming experience on both platforms, we really have a up to you kind of decision to make. On the left side of iOS, we do have a really nice feature where you get the games sooner than you get them on the Galaxy Note Edge. So the latest and greatest games typically come out either the same time or up to a month earlier on iOS versus on Android. However, on Android, you do have over 100,000 more free games in comparison. Even some games that are paid for on iOS 6 or iOS rather, are going to be free on Android. However, you do have to keep in mind too that Android has the home for many emulators. Emulators which you can now usually not play on iOS because they're getting more scarce and scarce. So it really depends on what kind of gaming experience you want to have. If you want the latest and greatest, newest games, then you're going to want to go with the iPhone 6 Plus. However, if you're going to want more free games and that's what you care about, or console-style gaming in the form of PSP emulators, N64 emulators, Super Nintendo emulators, and all these kind, then you're going to want to go with the Note Edge. Overall, I always go back and forth between this, but for this time around, I think I'm going to go with the iPhone 6 Plus for gamers. Now, as we come down to battery life, one thing that I've kind of been pointing out for the last comparisons have been the battery life that we started off with. Now, between these two, we originally started off with the Note Edge being at 78%, whereas the iPhone 6 Plus was 74%. So they were very close in percentage, 4% off. However, in the midst of this, we have seen the iPhone 6 Plus go at a further rate down in comparison to what the Note Edge did. And this is typical. We have seen that both devices have a very good standby time. And this is one thing that's very important to note is both have a very great standby time. However, when actually using the devices, the iPhone 6 Plus always has drained faster compared to the Note series and compared to the Note Edge or the Note 4 and even the Note 3. Overall, the iPhone 6 Plus does drain quicker when using it in comparison to the Note Edge. So if you're going to want longer battery life, you're going to want to go with the Galaxy Note Edge. Now, when it comes to extras and what is offered that is extra on your device, this is where iPhone generally falls, and just iOS products in general. On the iPhone, what you see is what you get. You get a heart rate monitor, and finally you have NFC payments. However, other than that, you don't really have much built in. With the Note Edge, you do have a lot built in. You do have the same fingerprint reader and NFC capable payments. However, you also have a bunch of other features. Note a few: the heart rate monitor, the IR blaster at the top to control everything, including, say, an Apple TV, even if you wanted to. You also have the ability, of course, to swap out the battery and add on more storage. Of course, we also have the Edge display, which has come in handy and which is really a beautiful extra and something that I've really rather enjoyed with my time with it. So overall, for the extras category, you have to give it to the Note Edge in just offering you more built-in features than iOS has on this device. When it comes to price point, unfortunately, we can't really judge this at this time, so we're going to have to estimate. Right now, the iPhone 6 Plus is the same price as the Galaxy Note 4. Considering we, at least at this point, feel that the Note Edge is going to be more than the Galaxy Note 4, without any confirmation, we can assume that the Note Edge will be maybe $50 to $100 more. comparing to the Note 4 price point, which is the same as the iPhone 6 Plus. Now, the Note Edge does come with 32 gigs of storage. Therefore, if it's $50 more than the price point of the iPhone 6 Plus, then you can compare them. Then it could be a draw. However, if it's $100 more than the Note 4, then the iPhone 6 Plus would have a 64 gigs of storage in that price point, whereas the Note Edge would have still only the 32. So it really depends on where it lands. Because we have to go assuming that the product will be more, we're going to have to give it to the iPhone 6 Plus. Because if both products were $299, then the Note Edge would win. If the Note Edge was going to be $290 or $349 on contract, whereas the iPhone 6 Plus would be $299 on contract, then we would probably call it a tie. It depends on if you want to spend $50 more for double the storage. However, if it would be at $399 with contract, then the iPhone 6 Plus would have 64 gigs at that price point, whereas the Note Edge would only have 32 gigs at that price point. So it would win again. So for those reasons, you have a win at $299, a even at $349, and a win at $399. Again, because we don't know the price point for right now, we will give it to the iPhone 6 Plus when it comes to price. All right, let's tie them up and see who won. When it comes to look and feel, the Note Edge just stands out above not only the iPhone 6, but every other phone on the market. It really just does look beautiful. When it comes to web browsing, you're going to get great experience on both these devices. Both load quickly, both respond quickly, and both are great for web browsing. When it comes to sound quality, well, the music was such a tough tie. It really came down to better vocals versus better bass versus loudness versus clarity. It just depends on what you like more of. When it comes to watching movies, the Note Edge just beats out the iPhone 6 Plus. It's just so much of a better screen in all your displaying purposes for watching movies. When it comes down to camera, surprisingly the Note Edge won this. I expected a tie on this one actually, but overall the Note Edge just performed a little bit better than the iPhone 6 Plus in this category, so the Note Edge takes it. When it comes to gaming, the iPhone 6 overall is going to be a bit better for gaming just because you do get the newer games out sooner on iOS 6 on the iPhone 6 Plus compared to the Note Edge. When it comes to battery life, the Note Edge is going to take it. It just drains less when using the device and therefore will win overall in terms of battery life. When it comes to extras, the Note Edge is going to easily take it. Having expandable memory, the Edge display, heart rate monitor, IR blaster, just so many more features that you get built in. When it comes to price point, we're going to have to give it to the iPhone 6 Plus for right now because we don't know the price of the Edge. So overall, we know the iPhone 6 Plus is going to be at $299, so therefore we have to give it for that because we do expect the Note Edge to be more. Overall, when we add them all up, we get a winner with the Note Edge. Yes, for overall purposes, the Note Edge seems to do better in terms of its look and feel, watching movies, taking photos, battery life, and extra features. However, if you want a better gaming experience and better price point, possibly for right now, you're going to want to go with the iPhone 6 Plus. Both devices are very hard to come by and very hard to find, so good luck getting either one and make sure you enjoy it once you have it. Thank you for watching. Please give a thumbs up if you like this video. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.